Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading Abaddon's Gate. So Abaddon's Gate is the third book in the Expanse series, which is a science fiction series, and I have read the previous books obviously, and I will link the videos for that down in the description. And I am actually gonna be reading book 3.5 as well, which is a novella that is called The Churn, and I have loved both previous books. And like the end of the second, like it was kind of insane and some crazy things happened that made me so excited for this one. So I was really looking forward to getting back into this world. And I just want to say that there are spoilers in this reading vlog, and having said that, let's just get into it. Okay, so I am on page 186 of Abaddon's Gate, and we are following, as usual in this series, Holden, and he, like at the end of the last book, he saw Miller, who is dead. Like he died at the end of the first book, so I don't know how the hell Holden is seeing him. Holden doesn't know how the hell he's seeing him, but he has been like seeing him since then and up to this point. I'm not entirely sure how much time has passed, but some time has passed. And he's still seeing Miller, and Miller is always saying like confusing things, like none of it makes sense. And then he says it happened and like disappears. And Holden's like, what the fuck happened? And basically what happened is what happened in the prologue of this book, which I was like confused about, but then they kind of explained it. And basically, I'm kind of gonna read it because sci-fi is confusing for me to explain. But basically it says, the ring, they called it, the gigantic alien structure that had left Venus and traveled to a point a little less than 2 AU outside Uranus's orbit, then stopped and assembled itself. Even with the distance between Ceres and the ring, the vast empty ocean of space, the news that some idiot's cheap-jack ship had gone in one side of the alien structure and hadn't come out the other should have had taken about 5 hours. Yet it happened 2 days before. That's how long the various governments watching the ring had been able to cover it up. So basically, the proto-molecule from book 1 and, book 2, it left Venus and it assemble itself into the ring, which is basically a wormhole. And so some guy that I don't remember the name of in the prologue, Neo, he went into the wormhole and like he didn't come out the other side. Or he did come out the other side, but the other side was like somewhere else out in space. And no one knows like where that is. So that's what's happening. And Holden is actually like, they have a job to go deliver something to some other planet that I honestly don't remember. And their job is like canceled, and because Mars wants their ship back, because they have a ship from Mars, and Mars wants their ship back because there's still like so much tension between like Mars and Earth and the OPA and the Belters and all of that. And so Mars wants their ship back, but they need the ship to, do their jobs and, survive. And then a crew of they want to do a documentary. They contact Holden and they want Holden and his team to take them to the ring. And since they're journalists, they have like the right to go in like whatever ship or whatever they want. So that is a way for Holden to keep the ship for that job. And so they go, and there are also like a lot of other people going towards the ring to see what the hell is happening. And we are actually following 4 POVs in this book. So we have Holden, obviously. We have Bull, who works for the OPA. We have Anna, who's an absolute icon, by the way. And we have Melba, who's actually not called Melba. She is called Clarissa, and she is the daughter of the guy from the first book that was responsible for what happened kind of with the proto-molecule. And so her goal in life is to like destroy Holden because Holden got her dad arrested. And so she basically wants to destroy him. And like I said, they're all going towards the ring. And at first I thought they were all going like separately, but it turns out that Melba or Clarissa and Anna are going in the same spaceship. And in the different ships, people are still trying to figure out what the ring actually is because they know that it's like a wormhole and that it leads somewhere, but also they don't really know how it works and how it affects what's like goes through it. And also, like I said, Clarissa or Melba, whatever her name is, her plan is to destroy Holden. And so she like blows something up, like another spaceship, but she makes it seem like it was Holden who was blowing it up. And so now everyone that is like on their way to the ring is attacking Holden because they think that, you know, he just blew something up. And he's trying to run, but he doesn't really have anywhere to run. So they just go through the wormhole. And now they have like no idea where they are. I have no idea where they are. And like when they get there, it says here, numerous objects clustered within 1,000,000 kilometers, close as seeds in a pod, and past them nothing, not even starlights. What are they? What's out there? Holden asked. Nothing, the dead man said. So like Miller in his head, or like whatever he is, nothing. And it scares the shit out of me. And I mean, it scares the shit out of me, but also that is very interesting. And yeah, I mean, that is pretty much what has happened. We have spent a lot of the time just like getting to know these characters. And I mean, obviously, I love Holden and his crew. And Anna is, like I said, an icon. Like the way she was introduced, iconic. And Melba, like, I hate her, but also her POVs are pretty interesting because, like, what she's doing is like crazy, but in a fun way. And she's also kind of delusional because she had to like kill someone because he found out her plan. And she was like, you know what? Holden is actually the one that killed him because I was only here because Holden destroyed my father. So this is all Holden's fault. And I love a delusional character. And then Bo, honestly, like I haven't really connected to him yet. I don't really care about him or his POVs. He's just there doing whatever, working for the OPA. And I mean, I hope I will like him, care about him, but so far, I don't. I mean, I don't dislike him, I just don't care. And I mean, I'm very intrigued in the plot. I have been literally since page 1, and I started reading this book like in a reading slump. This is what's getting me out. I read like this entire thing yesterday, and I like just want to go read more. So I'm very invested, and it is getting me out of slump. And it is actually like moving pretty slowly, just like the previous one did, book 2, which is called Caliban's War. That also moved pretty slowly, but I think I'm like much more invested in the plot of this one. So I don't really mind the slower pacing at all. And yeah, and I mean, what the fuck is up with Miller? Because like I said, like we don't know what he is. Holden thinks that he's the proto-molecule, like appearing as Miller. And I mean, I guess that's what he must be, but like how? Because he's the only one that sees him. So like he's not physically there. So how is he the proto-molecule? You know what I mean? I am very confused, but I am very intrigued. And I will read some more, probably another third, and I will get back to you. Okay, so I am 2/3 into Abaddon's Gate, and I think in my last update, Holden had just gone like through the wormhole, and now the people that were like following him and sort of attacking him decide to follow him through the wormhole because they want to get to him. And yeah, a bunch of people follow through the wormhole as well, including like all the other POVs that we are following. And Holden goes into what they call the station, which is like the structure of the wormhole, I think. And while he's in there, like he goes in there alone and the rest of his crew stay in the ship. And while he's in there, obviously Miller appears to him because it always does when he's alone. And he basically explains that it's like a simulation and he only appears to Holden because Miller like kind of liked Holden. He thought he was like a decent guy. So that's why only Holden can see him. And he also explains that like the station attacks anything that it feels like it's threatening it. And so it attacks all the other ships that have followed Holden. I mean, in Holden's ship as well, like it attacks everything that's there. And a bunch of people die. And then Miller is like explaining what the station does and like how to kind of fix it, but he never manages to finish the explanation because people from Mars appear to arrest Holden. And while that is happening, the other characters like Clarissa still wants to kill Holden, or at least to like make him suffer, make him pay for what he did to her dad, even though her dad was the bad guy. Anyway, she decides to go into Holden's ship where the rest of his crew is. And she is trying to kill Naomi, but Anna has followed her and she is an absolute icon. And she actually ends up saving Naomi and she like knocks Clarissa out. And also with Anna before, like one of her friends actually knows Clarissa and her family. So she recognizes her and she knows, like they already know that she was the one that bombed the other ship that she was like blaming Holden for. Because one of the guys that was like in Holden's ship, the journalists, one of them was hired by Clarissa to like mess up with Holden's ship to seem like the transmission was coming from there. And then when he's confronted about it, he shows a picture, or so I think he shows a picture of the girl who hired him. And actually Holden thinks it's Julie, like the girl that died in book 1, and so he thinks he's being like double haunted. But the other woman who knows her knows that it's not Julie, but it's Clarissa. And so, like I said, Anna knocks Clarissa out and then they arrest Clarissa. And they take her to the ship that is like of the OPA, like where Bull is. And they also take Naomi and the rest of Holden's crew there because they're all hurt. And they're going to be treated there while Clarissa is arrested. And then while Holden is also like arrested, he's like in the Martian's custody, he sees Miller again. And Miller is telling him, I think there was an empire once that touched thousands of stars. The Eros bug, that was one of their tools. It's a wrench, and something was big enough to put a bullet in them. Whatever it is could be waiting behind one of those gates, waiting for someone to do something stupid. So maybe you'd rather set up shop here, make little doomed babies, live and die in the darkness, but at least whatever is out there stays out there. Because basically, the ring, the wormhole, it has doorways to many places. And so it could be dangerous to see what could come out of like one of those places. And the very last thing that we see is that Bull is like trying to negotiate with the Martians to get Holden because he already knows that he was not the one responsible for the bombings. It was Clarissa. So he's trying to get Holden back and they're negotiating. And that is pretty much where I'm at. And like my thoughts and feelings are pretty much the same. I am still very invested in what's happening. I still feel the same about the characters. Like I love Holden. I really like Anna. I really don't like Clarissa, but her POVs are very interesting because she is like what she's doing, like her revenge plan. Obviously, I don't want it to work, but it's very interesting to read. And Bull, like I still feel nothing towards him. But the plot itself, I am very invested in. I am very interested. I am nervous because clearly this is very dangerous. I mean, already so many people died when the thing attacked, and it could attack at any point again if it feels threatened. And I'm sure someone will do something stupid because, I mean, it just sounds like they will. And probably something bad will happen again, and I am nervous. Honestly, like, I don't have much more to say because I just, like, my feelings are exactly the same as they were in the last update, but I will finish it and I'll let you know what I think about it. Okay, so I have finished the book, and in this part, we learn that Anna is trying to basically save Clarissa because her friend that knows Clarissa and like known her entire life since she was a kid obviously wants to save her because she likes her and she feels like all that she did was like for love of her father and all of that, so she needs to be forgiven. And I personally don't agree. Maybe I'm just a bad person. But Anna tells Holden and like his whole crew that they should, forgive and save her, whatever. And they actually agree to, not say that Clarissa is responsible for everything that happens. And speaking of Clarissa, she is still like imprisoned and she is released and she is actually asked to help with something. And the guy that asks her for help, he basically wants to destroy the ring. He wants to destroy the wormhole because he thinks that by doing that, they will be making sure no one else crosses it, like no one else from the solar system crosses it and gets trapped in there like they are. And they like have a weapon that can destroy the ring, so they want to do that. But we know that is not what's gonna happen. Like the ring can attack anything that it feels like is a threat because it has done that before to like all the ships. That is why so many people have died, because the ring felt threatened and it attacked the ships. So if they try to destroy it, it will destroy them and it will destroy everything, because we know that the ring has the ability to like destroy entire like solar systems. So, it will literally destroy everything. It will kill everyone. So when the other characters realize that Ashford and Clarissa are gonna do that, they all come together to try to stop them. And they go like on various different tasks. And so Anna's task is to like make a broadcast to all the ships, to everyone that is there, to say that they need to like lower their energy output so they will no longer be perceived as threats, and the ring will like the door will open and they can go back home. And at the same time, the others are like trying to get to Clarissa and Ashford and trying to, like I said, lower their energy output, and they are all like fighting. And there is like a huge fight between the two sides. And Bull is like, he's dying. I mean, he was already like dying because when the ships were attacked, he got like very severely injured. So he was already like kind of dying, but now it's the moment that he accepts that he's gonna die like right now. So he like kind of stays behind. And honestly, like what he was thinking was so sad, because he said if he was sad about anything, it was that everything that was in motion now would keep on being in motion without him. And he'd never know how it went, never know if anything he'd done had made a difference. And that was so depressing. But Clarissa actually hears like Anna's broadcast, and Anna is able to convince Clarissa to, stop what they're doing because they will get everyone killed. And so she actually like opens the doors for the others, and she also fights Ashford. And so they manage to do what they need to do, so like lower their energy output, like I said, and they are no longer perceived as a threat. And the doors open in the wormhole and they can't go back home, but like a lot of doors open so they can also go explore different places in the universe. So, a lot of people decide to come back to our solar system, like come back home, and others stay behind because they want to go explore. And actually Holden, he is asked by Anna to transport Clarissa because she like trusts that she will be safe with them until she goes to like her trial. And she asks her friends to buy their ship from the Martians, so Holden will, actually finally own the ship. Holden and the crew. And so they accept, so they now own the ship, and they're also transporting Clarissa, and that is pretty much where the book ended. And before we go into my final thoughts, I just want to briefly talk about the novella, which was called The Churn. And we were following, actually, like this was set before the events of the main series, like before book 1, and we were following actually a character that is part of Holden's crew, and he is like a badass, an icon, and we're following him before he became part of the crew, like before he met Holden and all of them. And like we see the people he was involved with, the businesses he was involved with. There's also like a thing happening that is like people call it the Churn, which is why the novella has that name. And I mean, it was interesting to see like his past. It was interesting to get to know him better, get to know the person he was before he joined the crew, like before we got to meet him in book 1. But also like it wasn't, anything that amazing. I was a little bored, and it was pretty short. So I mean, it was okay, and I think I'm giving it 3 stars. And now let's go into my final thoughts for Abaddon's Gate. So starting off with the characters as usual, and obviously starting off with Holden because he is the main character. I love him, like I have loved him since book 1, even though he has changed a lot throughout these just like 3 books. He has already changed a lot. But I love him, and it was really fun to follow him as he dealt with like seeing Miller and as he discovered all of these things about the ring. And also I love the rest of his crew. I especially love Naomi. She is an absolute icon, and yeah, I just really love to follow them. And I love their like friendships in the crew. Like they are like found family, and I absolutely love them. And then Clarissa, like I did not like her at all, like I said, but her POVs were really fun to follow because they like have an interesting plot. And I mean, she did get a redemption at the end because she made sure that everyone was saved. And now that she is like in Holden's ship, I'm wondering if she's gonna be like with them for the next book. I have no idea what's gonna happen in the next book. I don't even know if it's gonna be like right after this, or if they're gonna just, leave her where they're supposed to leave her and then go on their next adventure. I don't know, but like, is she gonna be there? I don't know, but that could be interesting. Then Anna, like as a character, she was very interesting. She was also an icon, but I feel like her plot wasn't as interesting as, for example, Clarissa's or obviously Holden's. And then Bull, I honestly never really cared until the point he died, because like I said, that was so sad, the things that he was thinking. So that was the only moment I actually cared about his existence. But apart from that, I mean, he was there, but I didn't really care that much. And also, at some point, someone, I don't remember who, but someone mentioned Avasarala, who was a character from book 2, and she was an absolute icon. And when they mentioned her, I was like, oh my god, I miss her. She should be here because she is such an amazing character. And I'm like wondering if she will ever be back because I love her. But moving on from the characters, I was hooked in this book, honestly, from page 1 because the plot was just so interesting and so intriguing. And I mean, obviously, like the whole ring wormhole thing and the place where they got to, but also like Clarissa's revenge plan. And honestly, I was stressed out. And once again, like the end of this book definitely made me excited for the next, because like the possibilities of entering the ring and being able to go explore the universe, like other parts of the universe, that is so cool. And so definitely very excited to continue on with the series and to just read the next book. And I mean, there were definitely like slow parts in this book that I was just like a little, not bored, but like I wanted to get through to the parts that I was actually interested in. So it was not like a perfect book for me in terms of pacing, but I still really, really enjoyed it, and I am giving it 4 stars. So yeah, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!